Hello and welcome. I am Anna Huviler and this is my vlog on how to live by choice. Last week's vlog was about broken agreements, and a friend of mine asked about the part where I spoke of blaming versus responsibility, if I could go deeper on this, and here you go. This week's vlog is on blaming versus responsibility. I want to start with a story. Back when I was 19, I got accepted into the Swiss Youth Orchestra. It was relatively recent after my dad had died, and I was also pretty shy back then. So I was really subdued. I didn't show up and integrate myself or in any way. And I actually ended up in kind of a mobbing situation. I remember very well how on the one hand I felt I didn't feel worthy at all. I didn't know why I actually got accepted, and I kept blaming myself. I was like, I'm just the wrong type of person. I'm just not the one to fit in there. I'm the reason to all of this. And I remember how I told a lot of people back at home how I didn't fit, and I actually was the victim. And being the victim is actually the reason of blaming. When we have the victim label, it's safer, because actually blaming means the same time it means we actually are less responsible, because if we are like, I'm wrong, it's always me, I'm so horrible, this takes away the ability to act or change something. And we don't have to show up vulnerably and dare something. We can just hide behind the victim label, not having to admit anything, and in addition always finding people who are with us, who side with us, and then they're like, oh, you're a poor person, and yeah, but we like you, and yeah, so on. So, oh yeah, it's going all wrong again. What did I want to say? Something just jumped into my mind. Imagine you're one of the persons who always forget to carry the garbage out of the house. And a lot of people are like, I'm just not the type to think of this. I can't help it, it's just me. Yeah, then you do blaming and you don't take on responsibility. And this is it just jumped into my mind because it's a nice example to show the opposite. I mean, imagine your life depended on it, or I don't know, your kid's life or whatever, something like drastic. You would never forget the garbage ever, right? So this is what I actually want to say about responsibility, how you actually can take responsibility. You can always ask yourself a few questions. You could ask yourself, what went wrong exactly? If something happened, like just neutrally, what went wrong? And which part was me? And which part of me was it? Where didn't I show up helpfully, or where did I miss out on something? And then after that you could go on to, how do I fix this? Who could I talk to improve things? What actions could I take? It's very different from blaming, because it's a lot more differentiated, and you can take those small pieces and learn from them. If you blame, you'll never learn. Things are just very fixed. And this reminds me, I will put the link to a book which compares fixed mindsets to growth mindsets. And if you take on responsibility, you put yourself into a growth mindset. And imagine the garbage. If this was a much more difficult task, but you could start very small and say, like, you're going to do a note or something, and you could just keep doing it and trying again and again. This reminds me of something else: social media and gaming. For me, this is really difficult, and I gave up on it for years. Like, I kept trying to get rid of it, and then I fell back in the trap, and I would always get to the point where it's like, this is just me, I think I need this, or I'm helpless. And recently I have resolved to trying again and again, and to just keep doing it until it freaking works like I want it to work. And ever since I resolved it and take all those small steps and try again, and then I find so many new angles, and I actually started to take on responsibility, really taking responsibility for the first time. So, thank you for listening about blaming versus responsibility. Have a good week. Bye.